Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. So glad you're here. All the people in the front and the people in the rear. When you came to the door, you expected to see BGG and Shateka rock the ceremony. Hey, listen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Right now this is what winning in wealth. How you say it?
Winning and Wealth Wisdom Wednesdays.
Okay. And right now is guess what? Like to me, what I love is, what you gonna share with us today. How you gonna help me to get to the next level? How you gonna help me to retire before I expire,
That's what
but
I was waiting to
retire
hear.
so I can enjoy myself. I don't want to
Listen,
retire and die. I want to retire and be able to enjoy myself in retirement.
absolutely. I'm all for it, right? Like we want to retire and live our best life. Like we want to move from career to calling. We want to move from, just doing whatever it is we want to do to purpose. Good evening, Lydia. And so at the end of the day, the only thing that's in the way for most people is finances.
Mhm.
And let's just talk about it for a few minutes. We're not going to be long tonight. We're going to be strong, but not long, because BGG is not going to tell you, but he's not feeling well today. So pray for him so he can feel
Thank
a
you.
whole lot better.
Thank you.
Yes. Hey, Big D. So, what we want to do is talk about debt tonight because that is one of the main reasons why people are not leaving the workforce. They are a slave to debt. So, let's really deep dive into this debt situation that's going on. So, we look at not only is this country in debt, but the people are in severe debt. And we know part of that is, really what people have been going through over the last almost 3 years, unfortunately. And so, what are some solutions? What are some strategies? What can we look at differently around debt to really get us free and so that we can get off the plantation of working, right? So, when we look at debt and paying it off, there's a couple ways to pay it off that most people know about or maybe desire to do for different reasons, and I'll talk about those too. But I'll also say that there's good debt and there's bad debt. So the first part of this conversation is going to be really centered around number one, a couple methods to paying off the bad debt, because if you didn't know, all debt is not bad, and we're going to talk about that the second half of this conversation. All right, so the first part, what are some methods to pay off your debt? So many people have heard of a snowball method, of course. It's really more of a feel good, I'm confident now, I'm doing something, I'm moving the needle, make me feel good type method. Why? Because you're going to take the smallest loan, pay it off, all the way to get up to the largest loan of all the debt that you have. So you feel like you're accomplishing something because, ooh, I got rid of that bill. Ooh, I got rid of that bill. And it usually starts at the smallest bill to the largest bill amount. So that's the snowball, literally snowballing your way to debt freedom. However, I want you to be very aware of not just the snowball effect, but the avalanche. Just what it sounds like, right? So when you think about the avalanche method, you're looking at all of the different bills that you have, listing them in highest interest order. So it's descending. So your highest interest first, that bill. The next bill, that's the next highest interest. And the next bill is the next highest interest, right? So the highest interest down to the lowest interest, right? So in descending order, interest rate wise, no matter what size the bill is, okay? You're going to pay off the highest interest first and work your way down. So your highest interest bill may be your largest bill. So you say, Shateka, well, that's not making me feel good. I'm not feeling like I'm accomplishing anything because I didn't pay off any of the bills. But over time, which one do you feel like? I want somebody to type this inside of the comments. Which one do you feel is going to get paid off first? The snowball, the one that makes you feel good. You make it, you're getting rid of all the smaller debts, or the avalanche. Which one? Tell me real quick. Let's see. Which one? Avalanche or the first person to respond and emails me, I am going to give you a trip. And the only thing you have to pay is your taxes. And you will not have to sit through a presentation, I promise. So, which one will it be? An avalanche or a snowball method? Which one? Do, 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 All right, I got you, Brian. Yes, yes, all day long, the avalanche. So real simple. I think the snowball effect gets a whole lot more notoriety, or I should say, recognition or acknowledgement. But more people need to know about the avalanche, because ideally the avalanche will be paid off sooner, because you're knocking out the highest interest debt first. All right. So that's the first part of our very brief conversation. And Brian, I know you're not feeling well, but tell me what conversation you have before we move over to the second half.
Listen, you know what? Okay, sit back and think about it. I mean, we talking about debt. And the difference right now is when it comes down to death, I think we are our own worst enemy, because the difference is we see, we what we do is we want with our eyes. It's not like right now we want with our eyes. It's like we get these big eyeballs and we want to see, the big house. The difference is right now,
Ryan, there's a big distraction right now. I apologize. You are very blurry right now. I don't know if it's my screen or yours, but you are very blurry, and I can't hear anything you're saying because I can't see you.
How about now?
It's more clear. It's more clear.
So where was I? Okay, what I'm saying is we got, like, when we talk about debt.
Lydia, you're right. You won, Lydia. So send me an email. Send me an email at staff at winningandwealth.org. winningandwealth.org. Staff, STAFF, at winningandwealth.org. Send me an email, and I will definitely send you what it is that you need to have for your trip. You just have to pay the taxes, and you will not have to watch any presentations. It's one of 125 destinations and around the world, to include the nation. So I'll give you a choice. So send me that, and we'll get you going. You have to do that within the next 24 hours, and then I will respond. Tomorrow is Thursday. I will respond no later than Friday. Okay. Thank you.
So I'm back. Am I freezing? I'm good.
Staff at winningandwealth.org. All right. So Brian, go ahead. I apologize.
I'm back.
Yeah, you're good. Oh, that's way clearer. Yes, you are back. All the way back.
Okay. But anyway, we talk about debt. Yes. And right now, I guess understanding what is good debt and what is bad debt. And the difference is, to me, it's like, why? Like right now is I'm going to get into, a $500,000 home when I know I only can afford a $250,000 home. It's like understanding, like, like separate want for need. You still got a home, but a lot of times I think people get big eye. It's like you want more and you bite off more than you can chew. And that's where I think we as human beings get into a lot of, trouble with. And that's what we got to learn to understand, separate our want from our need. And that can help eliminate a lot of debt. That's just my personal opinion. I am not a financial planner.
Yeah, I get it. You're right. So one of the main things about moving into a space of retirement and positioning yourself for retirement is making sure that you are not living above your means. Because if you're living above your means, to your point, you're never going to retire, because you're going to always be working to put on the Joneses, right? Like to impress people who can care really less about you, probably. Mm-hmm. You're going to try to impress them with what it is that you have materialistically. And so some people live above their means, bigger home than they need. It's just ridiculous, really. When you think about it, you're going to work 40 years for something that you really just can't afford, right? I say 40, I'm being facetious, but we know that a mortgage, if you go and you look at the root word mortgage and what it means to death. You're going to pay on that until you die, if you don't do something different, right? And so doubling up on payments, making sure that you have the lowest interest, those types of things, right? In terms of how it's financed. So you have to look at, how can I live below my means and not above my means? Number one, if you're going to retire before you expire, or if not, then you'll be working until you die to pay off type of a debt, right? Rather it's mortgage, student loan, the list goes on. What's the number one debt right now that people don't even really talk about, that they don't really consider? Anybody know?
The number one debt right now?
Yeah, so everybody has this debt, and nobody really talks about it. They talk about a mortgage, a student loan, they talk about a lot of these different things. But what's something that most people don't even really talk about that is a debt?
Okay, what to start with? What the initial? What to
Start
start
with
with?
T.
Tax.
Yes. It's the taxes. Like I told you guys last week, you can go from paying taxes to getting 5 figures back in taxes if you have the right person doing your taxes. And the reason why people are working so many years is because they haven't figured that part out yet. If they can save so much more, it's not how much money you make, 6 figures, 7 figures, or whatever figures, 5 figures. It's how much money you keep. And if you can keep more money every year because you have the right person doing your taxes, now that's more money in your pocket that you can now put towards bills and or leverage and have it compounding for you in any market, life insurance policy, stocks, crypto, and NFTs, the list goes on. If you can reposition and reallocate those tax funds that you have into a different pot to where it can make money for you instead of it going away from you. All right. So what does that do? Debt is compounding away from you when you need to figure out a way to compound to you. You need the money to come to you. You need to have a better relationship with money. You got to see how I can keep more of this money. How can I save money? It's not about the saving of the money, but it's about the money that you saved. How are you going to now compound that money and let that money make more money for you? Put your money to work. Employ your money. What do we talk about? You being the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of your money, because you are what CEO stands for, creating employment opportunities for your money. You don't go to work for the money go to work for you. You don't trade time for money. You stop trading time for money. W-2, nothing wrong with it for a season of your life. But if that's all you're doing, you will never outpace the compounding interest of taxes and debt. So you have to figure a way to make money while you're sleeping, or else you'll be working for money all the days of your life. That's Warren Buffett, right? And so when billionaires speak, I listen. I don't know about you, but I listen. I start taking notes. So, because I'm going to do what they're doing. So if you read the book, The Power of Zero, written by David McKnight, you're going to have all these revelations. It is the #1 book that will teach you really about how the wealthy get to a tax bracket of 0. They don't pay no taxes. You wondering why XYZZZ is not paying taxes? Go get The Power of Zero. And everything I've been talking about, you'll start understanding these things that we're saying. The Power of Zero, written by David McKnight. And I don't have any stock. I'm not a part of his whatever, but it is a great book if you need to understand how to get to a tax bracket of 0 because you have no knowledge of taxes, which most people don't. And most people don't have the right people doing their taxes. Okay, let me be real clear about that. If you're going down the street to certain ones, you already know what I'm talking about. Those franchises, they're not the person you want doing your taxes. You want a real professional that's going to really dig down and help you with those tax deductions. Did you know that there's 475 tax deductions?
Question. Look what you
for
said.
Business owners, because the tax code is written for business owners. It's not written for W-2. Yes, sir.
Question. Look what you're saying. And I remember from last week, and you kind of mentioned it today. Like, for example, it's like.
Thank you, Kenneth.
We get what we pay for. Okay, so the difference right now is, nobody want to pay anything, but you get what you pay for. If you want a nice house, you know what? You're going to pay that pretty penny. You want nice clothes, that's going to last. So the same thing with our taxes. If I go down there and let my cousin, sister, brother, husband, saying like really don't know nothing about it, do my tax for me, and I pay him a little bit, nothing, that's why you don't get nothing back. So the difference is if you get a professional to do it right the first time, then automatically, like you say, look how many deductible, 475 deductible. So as a business though, but right now it's saying if you're not in business, how many deductible is there?
That's a great question. But guess what? It's not favorable for the person that's not the business owner. That's why in his book, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, he says 95% of people are on the wrong side of money because they're in the W-2 self-employment quadrant, and they need to move over to the business owner investor quadrant. So if you say, well, I don't want to be a business owner, Fine, that's good. Have it your way. Be convenient, but you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. You're going to be enslaved to those types of taxes. And so I'm just telling you, side hustle, whatever kind of hustle, get you a business and start taking advantage of the 475 tax deductions that the wealthy are already taking advantage of. And one of the reasons why the gap is so large, the wealth gap. And when we talk about a wealth transfer, people are starting to learn how to play the game. And they're getting all kinds of businesses out here. You can get a business in anything you think of. And that thing can be written off 475 ways. And so if you decide that you don't want to do that because you want to be a W-2, that is perfectly okay. I have nothing against W-2. I was a W-2 for many years. I loved it. Okay. Spiritually, I felt convicted to leave the corporate field and move into the space that I'm in right now. All right. And I didn't even know exactly where I was going to go. I just knew that that wasn't it. And I was making 6 figures. So I left 6 figures to step out on faith. 6-figure bonus too. Okay. So at the end of the day, you can be comfortable in a W-2 because I was comfortable. I didn't want to leave. But there was something on the inside of me that told me that there got to be more to life than this. It got to be more to me than this. Who am I going to become? And that's when I had to leave and do something different. And here I am today. So you asked about, how many deductions for the W-2? I have no idea. I didn't know when I was in there. I definitely don't know now. That's not of interest to me anymore. But I will go and find out for my W-2 people. I owe you that. I'm going to write that down in my notes. I got to start a little tally of things that I need to figure out for you guys because I don't know that. I do know this 475. So I owe that. That's a fair question. That is a fair question.
475 is very attractive.
Very
attractive.
I didn't know that when I left, though. I was like, God, you know what you were telling me to do. I didn't know. So now here I am. So yeah, let's talk about debt a little bit more. So debt is really causing people to stay enslaved, right? All right. And so when you're in debt, the wrong type of debt, right, is not good. But let's talk about the good debt. So what the wealthy do differently than the poor, they are not going to use debt to purchase liabilities. They use their debt to purchase assets. They use their debt to go and buy property, multiple properties. They use their debt to do a lot of different things. They might go and purchase a car from an auction and go sell the car. It may look to somebody like a liability, but because they got it from an auction for cheap and they're going to make a profit, they're going to go and take that money, that debt, to buy something that they can turn a profit on. Whether it's a house, a car, a boat, they're going to go and find something to turn a profit. If there's a business opportunity somewhere, they're going to leverage their credit to go and start that business. They're going to use their credit to go and expand their business, to use it for marketing of their business, maybe hiring employees for their business. But that debt is going to be used in a way that there's going to be a return. Somebody needs to type this in there, a return on investment. It's called ROI, return on investment. If that debt is not giving you a return on investment, it is bad debt. If it's causing you to get poorer and poorer because it literally is not outpacing inflation, which the inflation rate is above 5%. If it's not giving you more than that, it is bad debt. Hello, knock, knock, ring, ring, blank, blank. I want you to understand how important it is to understand how to leverage debt to purchase something that is going to make you money. If it's not helping you make money, don't do it. If you need to write a book and you got to pay, whomever to get your book published so that your book can yield the profit that you're looking for, and you can do a book and literally become a speaker just because you have a book. Now you have your report card or your business card, I should say. Books today are your business cards. Okay, what your business card used to be, you have to have a book now to do that. Only because it's close by me. Only because it's close by. Your book, you're going to leverage it to make money for you with speaking engagements. You can turn it into a course. You can turn it into a workbook. You can turn it into a lot of different things. So how are you going to take that debt that you created from, manufacturing or making that book so that now it makes money? I'm just saying, a book, any type of intellectual property that you have, you might be an artist, you might be a singer. Now you got these gigs. You got your credit should be to get you to the gig so you can make money at the gig. You see what I'm saying? How some debt is good debt versus bad debt, because whatever you're using it for is going to produce you a return on investment. That's the only reason why you want to be in debt. And that's really all we really want to talk about really lightly on tonight. But want to see, are there any questions out there? Thank you for your participation and your engagement, Kenneth. You are really engaged tonight. And thank you. Life Good is saying what's up. All right. So I don't see any questions. But Lydia knows how to get in contact. And what other comments out there? Yes, assets versus liability. Brian, what other comments do you have about tonight?
You know what, like I say, to me, you kind of break it down and help, like you say right now, being that it is tax season. So, folks, being that it is tax season, it's something that she's saying, you get what you pay for. So a lot of times, you know what, you got to pay. If you go in there, go to a professional to do your taxes. Don't get your cousin, don't get your husband, brother, sister, girlfriend, whatever. It's like, go to a professional. And the bottom line, you'd be surprised exactly what your return, can be. Whatever you put into something, that's what you're going to get out of it. But you want nickel and dime the situation, guess what? You're going to nickel and dime and get nothing back. And then you probably wind up owing in the long run because they messed up, because they're not professional. You get what you pay for.
Right. If you're leaving money on the table, then that's the worst thing that you could do, is leave money on the table. So again, why is the wealthy wealthier? Because they have a greater knowledge and education on these types of subjects. And we're just bringing the tip of the iceberg to you. It's really just a high level overview of different topics that we're bringing to you to kind of get you started up and get you to think. Tonight was really more about mindset, right? Because when we look at debt differently, avalanche versus liability, avalanche versus snowball, and then of course assets versus liability, then those two things alone is going to help move the needle, and how you're going to be so much more in position to retire. Everything we're talking about is how to get you to financial independence so that you can retire, right? There's 6 steps to financial independence that we talked about a few lives ago, if you go back and look for it. But did you even title it 6 Steps to Independence? I think you did. Either way, debt is like number 3. Number 1 was creating great cash flow. How are you going to generate more cash flow? Number 2 was how are you going to generate an emergency fund? We said 3 to 6 months, but ideally a month, a 12-month period, I should say. So 3 to 6 months, but ideally a 12-month period or annual amount, right? So that if you were to go into business, you would have significant amount of months, to be able to rebound from if you become a business owner. And never leave your job, of course, to step out if you can, without having at least, an annual amount, as much as possible in terms of your expenses saved, just in case, it doesn't turn out or pan out the way that you need it to. Most people, some people have a challenge when it comes to saving, but it really is about, your spending habits. So again, 1 and 2, cash flow, how you're going to increase it. 2, emergency fund. And then 3 was really about not just, consolidating your debt, but eliminating your debt, because consolidating your debt can ideally cost you more, right? Like you're going to pay someone to finance your debt, to put it all into one bucket. You're going to pay more money to do that. And yes, it can give you some breathing room, but you're going to be paying for it longer. And, that's primarily what's going to happen, right? And so people sometimes end up doing all these 2nd and 3rd mortgages on their homes, pulling out all the equity and things of that nature. But unless it's going to be for an asset, i.e. a business or something that that you can yield a profit or return on investment, why would you pull the money out of your property unless you're going to buy another property? Like if you have enough that you can take that money out and put a down payment on your investment property, that's a great way to go. But if you're taking it out just to pay the debt, that's not going to give you a return on your investment. You want to do both, right? So why not first get something that's going to give you a return on your investment? And then when you get that cash value building up and whatever it is, rather it's a policy, rather it's, whatever it is that you're trying to do, once that money grows, it makes you more money. You take the money that it made, and then you go buy liabilities with that money. But let your first priority be for that money to make money for you before you go and buy a liability or pay off liabilities or pay off debt, right? Because you want to have good debt. I was speaking to someone who is a credit specialist. And trust me, I saw you guys talking about, you want to hear more about credit. There's a lot of a lot of great things that you can do around credit. I just say a lot of those strategies, best practices, however you want to say that. Making sure that, you don't have more than 2 inquiries. Making sure that your utilization score for your credit cards is below 10%, not 30%, things like that nature. But he was telling me, and I don't know too many people that know credit as good as he does. And he said he'd rather somebody be in a 600 and something credit score like they're wealthy because they went out and they created debt with their credit to go and purchase assets than to be an 800 score and they're not doing anything to create money or create wealth. They take their credit and they use their credit to buy, to do wealth. They can go, and some people go and they pay for these Airbnbs or they do things to spruce up their home to make an Airbnb with the credit. And now that's making them more money because they leverage their credit to make more money. They didn't use their credit to go and buy, liabilities. They didn't do that. They didn't go down to Fendi and Gucci and Prada. That's not what they do. What they do is what we just talked about. They make sure that there's a return on investment, and when that return on investment it gives them more than what they actually invested in the first place, they take that money and go play money. Basically, this is a different way of looking at credit. Credit is not bad if you're leveraging it, but if you're not leveraging it and getting the points back and all that kind of stuff, making money off of the purchase that you made, you're going to spend the money anyway. Why not get the points? And that the points mean money, rewards points. You can cash out. I've gotten a lot from rewards points. So credit is good if you can get rewards points back, and you have the discipline to now use those rewards points to pay off debt or to leverage to get you more money. More what? Return on your investment. All right. So great. So thank you very much. I don't know what's going on, Brian, in terms of your side of what you're seeing in terms of people, but what other comments did you have? Any other questions out there?
Like I said, I like what Kenneth say as far as absolutely buy asset, not liabilities. And even right now, like you say, anybody, while we are so quick or we are brainwashed to go into the Louis, the Prada, the Fendi's, the Hermes, it's like, why? It's like, because once again, it's almost when you go in there and you take that Louis, Fendi, Prada, Hermes, and you walk out of that store, guess what? Everything depreciate, just like a car. Soon you drive that car off the lot. So people don't understand it's great to have nice things, but the difference is we got to separate our wants from our need. And like you say, we're brainwashed. For the most part, society, especially among our community, are brainwashed for the wrong reason.
Making the rich richer.
It's not about that. Yeah, man.
Listen, don't show me your car. Show me your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? I can't live in a car, but I can live in a house. It's a lot out there, mindset wise. So definitely want you guys to just look at ways that you can have a greater return on your investment. What are you going to do differently in 2022 to make sure that you leverage your credit or leverage, your money to make sure that your money is going to be making money for you while you sleep? What are the 1, 2, 3 ways that you're going to make sure this year that you add to your portfolio a way to make sure that your money is going to make money for you in 2022?
And you know what? Even as you speak about 2022, like I just got back from Vegas, and even I was going to Vegas, and for a few days to take care of a few things. And I went to Saks Fifth Avenue, and like I seen certain things I like, picked it out, tried on everything. And you know what? It's like, you get to the register and you thinking about it. It's like, wait a minute, hold up. As much stuff I already have in my closet, what the hell am I doing? So like I kind of felt proud about myself, because it's like, you know what? Like, it's like right now, going back to the Bible. When I was a child, I thought as a child, act as a child, but when I became a grown up, I put away all. But the difference
Show and tell is over. It's
like
over.
it's like liability. It's like, here it is, you buy something, and you the Saks, they want to be high end. No, it's like right now is these are the things that you got to start investing into your future. Not let it be a liability. You got to be an asset. If it's not an asset, what are you doing?
So think about how our behaviors and our relationship with money. Do we really want our children to pick up those same types of behaviors? Are they going to grow up and do the same things, or how are they going to teach your grandchildren or your your great grandchildren? So the behaviors that you have, you want to make sure that your children can model after those same behaviors, and that we are basically being, a role model when it comes to that. And we're emulating exactly what we want them to represent, because time out for, really all the spoiling, yes. But are they going to regret that later on, because really that you didn't teach them the right things? Did you teach them about the credit? Did you learn the credit so you could teach them about the credit and how to leverage it versus how to pay it off fast? Anybody can pay it off fast, but how are you going to leverage the credit to make more money for you? People are giving you money so that you could be the business owner. I love what Kenneth said, because he was like, show me the business that you have, right? Like, show me what you're building. Martin Luther King, he's a great man. He built something. He built on the hearts of this entire nation who it is that he was, and what it was that he was trying to say and convey, and the things that he was trying to change. He had a dream. We all have to have a dream. What is your dream? And I remember being in corporate and saying to myself, I knew that it must be more to life than this, but I didn't have a dream. I didn't know like what I needed to be doing. And there's nothing wrong with that, but go figure it out. Go figure that out, because we all got to figure it out. It said the two greatest days that we were born is the day that we were born, and the second, the day that we realized why we were born, why we were here, right? The two greatest days, the purpose day.
Yeah.
So that's when you build your business around, and you'll never be broke again. You never feel like you're working again, because you'll be doing your passion primarily. I don't feel like I'm working when I'm out here. All of these social media streets, Brian. I don't feel like I'm working.
Okay.
I feel like, I'm doing something, to educate and empower and communicate what it is that I need to communicate as lightly as I do it, because I don't do a whole lot on there. I spend more my quality time with my clients,
which is great. Look what Kenneth say. Warren Buffett drove his car for 20 years. Then OG Sonny Block will say, Kenneth, Bill Gates shop at Walmart, no fancy suits. So
Sam Walton did the same thing with his truck. He had a truck for the same time. He had that same beat up truck until he died. Sam Walton, the owner of Walmart, same thing. Hello. I mean, they don't have to be flashy, because that's not their goal. Their goal is to build a legacy. Something that it's children. I even did a post on my Twitter. I was like, my children are going to, how did I say it? They're going to be okay just by my works for the first half of this year alone, right? That just the first half of this year. Why? Because I'm going to leverage what I do the first half of the year, and that's going to, for generations to come, have an impact. And every parent should have something like that they're doing for their children. Listen, I said the children that don't even have, and their children. And their children, what, are going to be okay because of what? The actions and how are we going to take action? We got to take action. And now everything's going to be okay because you did something. If you don't do anything, what's going to happen? Too many dreams are in the graveyard, Miles Monroe said. He said the richest place in the world is in the graveyard because people carry their dreams there. And so in this time that we're talking about having dreams, don't take it to the grave. Die empty. Live full out. Play full out. Play full out. Sometimes it's inconvenient. Sometimes it's disruptive. Sometimes you don't want to do it. But when you give all that you can experience the exhilaration of the victory of what is going to yield for you. Victory. Yes.
Victory. Right. That's powerful. Hey, everybody, thank y'all for joining us. Do y'all got any more questions before we wrap it up? You know, because once again, like I say, Shateka, what I love as far as like listening to you is the way that you express yourself and the way that you try to educate anyone that's willing to listen. It's like, what the sense of having knowledge, but people can have the knowledge, but they don't have the ability to teach. They don't have the ability to share. See, one thing I love about your spirit, you know, right now is you want anybody that's willing to listen, to take the time and listen. Guess what? You're going to share it. You're going to educate them. You're going to help them get to where they need to be at in life. Because once again, to me, like what I love when you say retire before you expire. Because for those that don't even understand how you even came up with that concept, please explain why.
Yes. 2 friends. I want everybody to imagine your 2 closest friends to you right now. Because, you know, your closest friends, they change in different seasons of your life. So in 2018, my 2 closest friends at that time, one lived in Georgia, one lived in South Carolina. I lived in Baltimore. They both were going to literally move to the DMV area. It's called the DMV, right? So DC, Maryland, and Virginia. They both never were able to because they both expired. Unexpectedly and very suddenly, within 4 days, they both were dead. All right? They died from the flu. They both had the flu. And within 4 days of having the flu and within 4 days of each other, they didn't even know one another. The only connection to them was me. Really spooky. Really spooky. But they both died. And so they never really lived, in my opinion, because one was a business owner and she worked. Okay, sun up to sundown, that girl worked. Single, never married. They found her expired on her couch. She never made it to the doctor to go see about the flu. My other friend, she went home. She had just started battling cancer a couple weeks before that. She got the flu and pneumonia at the same time. She was an HR executive, always worked. All right. So they didn't really live and have the experience of retirement and be able to live their best life like a lot of people in retirement, full-time retirement. Most people don't even live full-time retirement. They have part-time retirement. They got to go back and do something, hustle, do something, because it's not enough money, because they don't know how to position their money properly to where it's going to give them enough in retirement to be able to supplement, I should say, even just source what it is that they need. 80% of their salary is what we ask people to try to look at. Most people can't even do that, right? So, but yeah, my 2 friends, at the time, they were age 46 and age 50. I had just went home a month before, or I should say went to Georgia a month before to celebrate the one that was 50, drove from Georgia to South Carolina after flying to Georgia to meet the other friend who was in the hospital with the cancer. Almost got killed on the way back to Georgia, on the way to catch my flight back to Baltimore. And somebody ran in front of me. And literally, a month later, they were gone. They were both gone. I couldn't believe it. So retire before you expire means just that. You need to retire before you get up out of here. You need to be able to, when I say retire, I mean transition to doing what it is that you know you are called to do, or go and figure it out. Spend time with yourself. Love on yourself, because most people don't. That's why they hard on other people, because they hard on themselves. They don't love themselves. So go and do that. That's what people do in retirement. So even if you don't retire to go do something, retire to, take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to just stop and don't do anything. You want to do something, rather it's to work for a cause or make a difference in the world. What is it that you can do differently besides just work, and never enjoy life? Don't take no vacations. Don't do anything. You just working. Working for what? There should be a means to the end, right? Beginning with the end in mind, spending more time with your family, spending more time with yourself, And so I just want to see more people move from career to calling. I want to see more people move from, faith to faith, from good to great, But if you are always working to pay bills that you created instead of repositioning your money into something that's going to make money for you while you sleep, stop trading time for money. Because guess what? Retirement is not an age. Retirement is an income. You don't have to work till you're 65. And the Generation Zs and the millennials are not working till they're 65. They work until they're 35. Let me be real clear about it. Okay? They want to retire at 35 and 45 years old, and they want to have some money coming in. Trust me, I know. And so if you don't have discipline, you got to have discipline to do the things that you don't want to do today. So you can chill and relax later on when everybody else that didn't do what they're supposed to do have to work until they're 80 years old. It is what it is. It's decisions, it's choices that we make. Just like the relationships that we build with some of the wrong people, same thing with our money. You build your relationship with your money with some of the wrong assets and wrong things going on, you know what I mean? And you don't really create an employment opportunity for your money, you'll be working for your money all the days of your life, and you will not be able to retire before you expire. Your children will say that my granddad always worked, my grandma always worked. The grandchildren are going to be saying that about you.
Be the victor and no longer the victim. Think of where we have come from. We have overcome the worst. Now it's on to the best of your life for the rest of your life. Enough said. Bob Cosmetic, thank you. And those are things like you said right now is if you look at it and you listen and you see and like look at that testimony as far as like, what you experience and what motivates you. Because like to me, like I told you beforehand, I remember how, like watching, like, I think we both worked the night shift. You had, walk away from, like I said, 6-figure job, South Carolina, and took your talent to Baltimore, you know what I'm saying? And then right now you working a night shift. And yet still you was able to like went out on faith, left another 6-figure job on W-2 on the table. So you know what? I'm going out there. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. And right now, once you've been blessed, because once again, it's not like anybody gave you anything. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, you went out there, you grabbed the bull by the horn. And the difference is even some of the things that you went into blindly. But right now was your determination.
Yeah.
That's what made you excel. That's what made you, who you are today.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable.
Truth be told, I mean, it wasn't easy, Brian. I mean, it was a little bit of a challenge here. I would tell anybody, try to replace your income before you just leave your job with your part-time hustle, your part-time business. Make it part-time first. Let it replace your salary first before you leave. Okay. Because it was challenging in the beginning, but I persevered. I endured hardness as a good soldier. And here I am today. I was, my company made number one in the company that my company is powered by. So I'm a broker, but every broker has a company that powers them. First Financial Security powers my company. And we made number one year to date in 2022. Just left a meeting this past weekend. I had no idea. I don't even look at those boards. I figured I was so low on the totem pole. Who cares? I don't even look at it. But they told me that my company was number one. And I give all glory to God, of course. And, that clients who I have that are actually good clients that stick with me, they gave me the opportunity to do business with them. They trusted me to do business with them. I don't take it lightly. And so, yeah, we can, after we suffer for a little while, there has to be glory after this. As long as you're doing what it is that that you've been called to do, just keep persevering because you can go from being from the back to the front. Okay. The last shall be first. So that's all I have to say about that.
Hey,
your latter days are going to be your greater days.
Look what you say. The terminology you utilize. You utilize that word hustle, and see sometime when I hear that word based upon my previous lifestyle, when I heard that word hustle, you think it's all negative. See, people think you got, like right now, you can hustle legally. Like, look what you say. Here it is right now, goody two-shoes. You never got caught up in that. Everything, like you start hustling What you say you was doing? What you was selling at like what 9 years old? Lemonade? What you was selling?
Huh?
What you was selling at 9 years old? What you was selling?
Listen, I'm reading these comments over here. But no, I actually, my chili beer, I froze my Kool-Aid and I sold it to my brothers and people and my friends in the community.
Okay.
That's
At
one of my first hustles.
at what age?
I used to sell newspapers as a little girl. And
At what age?
I started like around 8 years old. I was
See?
selling shoes. I sold what's called Mason shoes. I don't even know if they're still around. I sold Mason shoes. I sold stationery, and then grit newspaper. I used to stand out and sell grit newspaper as a little girl, and that's another whole story. Somebody said something weird to me out on the streets, and that scared me, and I had to run home. But yeah,
look what you're saying as far as hustling, and that's the difference. T. Rivers say 5 more months. Hope I am doing the right thing by retiring.
I saw that.
Did y'all ever got in contact? Did y'all ever make contact?
I don't think we did. I think I needed to reach out. That's the same one.
Exactly. You know that because he's a firefighter. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, T. Rivers, I owe you one, big time.
Yeah. So, and that's the difference. But hey, listen, everybody, thank y'all for joining us. I truly appreciate it. Like I told you beforehand, like me and Shateka will be doing this, like I'm saying, every Wednesday. And when opportunity present itself, sometime we might have to record a broadcast. But what I love is, like I say, I wasn't able to this week to catch any of your shows as far as on Clubhouse. What is called like 99. What's called
99 retirement tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we've been talking about today. We talked about debt, so that's why I'm having that conversation again. But we've been talking about some different topics around retirement, of course. So I'm going to be talking about annuities tomorrow and employer plans. That's my title for tomorrow. And every day this is a different topic, just tips that we talk about. The goal is to not be long on there. Again, I don't have a whole lot of time. 30-minute spurts. I'm in and out. Unless people have a lot of questions. I just want to give the content, talk about it a little bit. And anybody who have any questions, they can definitely chime in and add value if they want to add value on a different topic. But tomorrow we'll be talking about annuities because most people know about Social Security, but they don't know that they can make their own Social Security. Social Security is funded by the government, but that's going to go away at some point. So what you going to do then when it's gone? So annuities is the way that you're going to do that if you don't want to do an insurance policy. The rich are using insurance policy because they want their money to grow tax-free. And as a life insurance broker, I'm definitely giving you all of that, right? So in term, you don't have to do an IUL. You can do a term policy, but you're just not going to get any cash value. I just talked to a lady right before this call, my first term policy. And that's what she can afford. So it's for who it's for. There's something for everybody's budget. But when you look at retirement, most people can't take their employer, policy with them. So that's where I come in at for that part for retirement. But at the end of the day, annuities is a great way to create your own lifetime income if you can't do it inside of a policy. The policy is going to be the better choice because it comes with 8 different benefits that the annuity doesn't have. But for the person that cannot, for medical reasons, get approved for insurance, annuity is the next best thing because at least you know that you can form an income for the rest of your life. All right. So that's the wonderful thing about annuities. Employer plans, they're going to run out at some point, right? Because of taxes, because of the fees, 30 to 50% higher in fees. You can go to the Department of Labor and see that. It's all spelled out there for you. So this kind of what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Annuities primarily.
Yeah, you say Kenneth X Clubhouse. You say Clubhouse. Yes, Clubhouse.
Yeah, I have a club on there called the Winning and Wealth Club. Winning and Wealth Club is actually used to be a radio show I did in Baltimore as well. And that's my other plans for it. But basically right now we have about 2,100 people in that club. At any given time, any of those individuals might step into the room. Our rooms are pretty light, very intimate, small group of club members on there just to kind of communicate kingdom building. It's a faith-based club. And so we talk about ways of winning wealth for the kingdom so that everybody can win. Everything that we need is right there. So if you went to wiwclub.org, you can see the moderators. that's in that club as well. So wiwclub.org.
And you know what? A few times I came on there, and what I love about your platform, because for some reason, man, like, I get tuned in or go in or something flash up, and I go into some of these rooms, and some of the negative and profanity and all. Whoa! I gotta leave. They got that sign, you can leave quietly.
Yeah.
I bow gracefully, because it's that negative energy. So what I'm
It is.
saying is this: it's a welcome when you see positive, spiritual people, like, and it's about helping, it's about sharing. Once again, what we say, what, like, my whole key is, I'm trying to establish this foundation. It's best to give and receive. The difference is what y'all do is giving. I'm saying, so it's up to us to receive, I'm saying, that information, that knowledge, and put it into effect. So I don't got to worry about coming. If I see your name pop up, I know it's going to be enjoyable. I know it's going to be nothing negative. It's not going to be nothing nonsense. And I truly appreciate that.
Well, yeah, we have some really good moderators in there. Listen, I can just chill out and just listen, because all our moderators are dynamic. They're just really good. So thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
So
All right.
if no other question, we're going to go ahead and bow gracefully. Thank each and every one of y'all for taking your time out to join us. Okay. Yes, she is. She is.
Thank you. The ninth power. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but anyway, folks, now it's time to say goodbye to all our lovely friends. MIC, see you next week now. KY, why? Because we love you. MOUSE, Mickey Mouse.
Thank you guys for sharing this and liking the video so that more people can see it.
All right. See y'all next time. Same channel, same time. Night.
Good night.